Welcome everyone, my name is Gayle. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today we're going to work on digestion. And this is important all the time, but around the holidays it becomes even more of an issue because maybe we've just overeaten a little bit too much or overeaten a lot, and you know how you feel the next day, kind of sloggy and slow and a little bit uncomfortable in the belly, maybe bloated. So the best thing is not to eat too much, but we're always going to do that probably at some point in time, or most of us, many of us. And so how can we start to feel better sooner? So we're going to guide you through a practice. We're going to do some twists, some core work, some nice compressive stretching. That sounds like an oxymoron, doesn't it? Well, we're going to do some compression and stretching to help just get things moving. Really just movement will help digestion in general. But let's start by closing our eyes. Let your hands rest softly on your thighs. Stack your shoulders over your hips so you're not slouching or overarching, and then try and stack your head over your shoulders so the head isn't hanging forward, but there's a lift, and your neck should feel nice and relaxed, so you can just turn your head a little bit from side to side, just nice and slowly. And focus on the breath, being full and smooth and even, so that we're not over-stressing getting a super, super, super full breath, but we're also not letting the breath be shallow and, kind of barely alive. So keep your eyes closed, fill up with the breath, and feel an internal expansion as you inhale. And as you exhale, softening to let go. When we're uncomfortable, a lot of times we tense up, unconsciously. And so that little bit of tension from the discomfort of the belly kind of adds to that discomfort. So just coming and taking some time, tuning into the breath. So you could do this several times during the day. Is just stop for a moment, tune into the breath. And allow the breath to be smooth and to feel like it almost has a life of its own, like you can feel this energy moving inside your body. And open your eyes, and if you need to take a moment to get some blocks, it's always good to have blocks for your practice. A strap and some kind of blanket. A yoga blanket is great because they have a little bit of a density to them. So the props are really nice to have. We're going to start by just taking a big long stretch up, and then reach up through your right fingers and up through the left fingers, and just think of getting taller as you pull your belly towards your spine. Just nice and slowly lengthening through the side bodies. And then sitting up as tall as you can, feeling the waist get smaller. So cinching the waist in, belly toward the spine. Take a big inhale, and then exhale and twist to your right. Let your arms float down. So it's really no effort. And you don't want to be slouching in the twist. You want to be staying nice and upright, twisting, a nice gentle twist from inside. And then inhale back up. Again, stay tall. Remind yourself to stay tall. Keep the height, and exhale, twist to the left. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, reach up. Stretch up through those fingertips, and exhale, slowly let the arms float down. Coming into your twist. Inhale, back up. Keep the tallness of the spine, and exhale, open into the twist. Inhale, back up to center. This time place your right hand on the floor. Keep a big lift up through this right side, and reach the left arm across. So collapsing would look like this, but keeping a nice lift. Keep the shoulders back. And inhale, back up to center, and same thing. Left hand to the floor. Lift it through that left side. Reach over across with the right arm. And then inhale back to center, and then bring your fingertips behind you. So you're on your fingertips, nice and tall, and push into the fingers so the chest lifts up. Stretch the shoulders back, draw the ribs in, pull the belly in. Keep that nice height, and then send that height forward. So you're not dumping the chest, but you're lengthening through the spine. Now here's where you might want to have a block. And the block could either go under your forearms, or it could go underneath your forehead. So you can just rest your forearms on the floor or the block. Rest your forehead on the block, or you might not even need to use a block. You might want to rest it on your hands. Think of keeping your low back long and breathing into your back ribs. So again, you feel that movement in the spine. And inhale back up. And come over onto your bellies. Move those props to the side. Come onto your bellies. And just rest your arms out to the side and just kind of wiggle your hips back and forth. It's like you're giving your belly maybe just a little itty bitty massage. Okay. And then place your, bring your hands a little bit forward of your shoulders. Come up onto your fingertips. Press your shoulder blades back and then curl up through your chest. So I'm not pushing the arms straight, I'm trying to use the back muscles. And then exhale, peel down. Walk your hands back a little bit. Keep the shoulders lifted. Inhale, curl up. Press that belly towards the spine and exhale, lower down. Now you can keep your hands here, or if you move them back a little bit more, you'll come a little bit higher. So press the top of your feet into the floor. Squeeze your shoulder blades back. Inhale, curl up. And then exhale, bow. Bring your hands by your sides, lift up, sit back. We're going to come into child's pose, so you can sit back on your heels. Now if this is uncomfortable, you can always place a blanket underneath your feet, underneath your knees, or here behind the knees. Stretch your arms forward, let your forehead rest on the floor, and again, breathe into your back. So every inhale, the back lifts up, and every exhale, it softens. Then you can walk your hands over to the right side. Reach that left arm. We're reaching over to the right. Reach the left arm forward, and I'm shifting my hips a little bit to the left. So you can get a big stretch all along this side body. And inhale back through center. And exhale over to the left. Stretch the right hand a little further than the left if you can, or stack it on top. And then shift your hips just slightly over to the right. Breathe into that right side body. And then walk your hands back to center. Come onto your hands and knees and tabletop. Keep the belly nice and lifted and toned. Rotate your fingers towards your knees or fingers out to the side. The fingers are to the side, rock from side to side. And the fingers are towards your knees, rock your hips back towards your heels. So this is just to stretch out the wrists a little bit. It's so important. I do this every day. The wrists are really important, and sometimes we have wrist pain that we notice. Sometimes we have tightness that we don't notice, but eventually could turn into pain. So even just like a minute or two doing the wrist stretches. And then bring your fists together, make fists with your hands, bring your fists together. And then as you exhale, keep the knuckles connected and stretch out. And then bend to release the stretch. Go back and forth. Show you from the side here. So the more you press your knuckles into each other and then extend out through the back of your hands, you can get a really nice stretch. From the back of your hands into the wrists and even into the shoulders. Good. Come back onto your hands and knees. We'll do some cat-cows. So as you inhale, lower your chest toward the floor without bending the elbows. Lift the belly up and stretch the back of the heart forward, squeezing those shoulder blades towards each other. Trying to get into the upper back, and again, stretching out the belly a little bit because the belly is actively lifting. As you exhale, press your belly to your spine, let your head and shoulders relax, and find that space in between the shoulders. And start to go back and forth, slow enough so that you can feel the movement of the spine. Just getting the spine moving. And everything is connected, and right around this, our core area between the shoulders and the hips, we have all our organs and the spine. Like whatever is really essential to human life. We're just getting it moving. So anytime you move, everything in your body will move. So you can start to shift your ribs from side to side, staying in cat pose with a nice rounded spine. And then we'll do some more gentle twisting. So keeping the belly lifted, start to move from your back, opening up the shoulders, stretch the arm up last. And then as you exhale, lower down, bend your elbow and reach the right arm over to the left. And on an inhale, open up that stretch. And exhale, stretch it across. Inhale back to center, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. So move nice and slowly, start from your back. Open up and twist. And then exhale, bend the elbow, reach across. Inhale back to center, and twist. And exhale, and reach across. Come back onto your hands and knees, and just a couple more cat-cows. Really moving the breath, moving the spine. Then let's take your blanket, and you could take like anything that's soft, like clothes or towels. You want to fold it up and then roll it up. So we're just going to do a little bit of a belly massage. So you could roll up the blanket. Now, if you have a soft ball, something like this is the gorgeous tune-up ball. This is even like my favorite thing to do. So if you have one of these, get this out, and we're going to massage your belly with that. Or everyone probably has some type of blanket that they can roll up. And then you want to place this right across your belly. So blanket's kind of between your ribs and your hip bones. Let your head rest on the floor. And then as you inhale, let the belly extend and you'll rise up a little bit. And then as you exhale, just let yourself settle down into the blanket. And you can rock around here a little bit, just giving yourself a really gentle massage. And you can repeat that as many times as you want. So inhale into the belly. Feel your weight kind of come off the blanket or the ball. And as you exhale, let your weight settle down so it kind of goes around the blanket. And just to show you, in case you're confused, I'm having this folded up enough so that it kind of rests right below the ribs and right just above like where the hip bones are. So something like that. It doesn't have to be exact, depending on the size, depending on the roll. But you just want it, we can do a little bit of a gentle massage that way. Now we're going to come onto our backs, have your strap handy, and your block handy, at least one block. And come onto your backs. Hug your knees into your chest, and just gently rock in circles. I like to hold my knees, and then as I stretch my knees away from my body, I get into the hips a little bit. And then as I pull the knees in, I get more into the low back. So just some nice circles around in both directions. And then maybe pull your knees in a little bit tighter, maybe wrap arms around your knees. Hug yourself and lift up. Get as tight as you can. A little bit of rocking back and forth. And then lower back down. Hug your right knee in towards your ribs. Set your left leg out on the floor. So keep the left leg active. Pull that right knee in towards your armpit as far as you can. Comfortably or a little bit uncomfortably. And then you can bring your foot up toward the sky. Keep holding the back of your thigh or maybe reach for your foot. So a half happy baby. I'm trying to keep the thigh, this left leg as close to the floor as possible. And then bring both knees in again. Give yourself a little squeeze. And exhale, straighten your right leg, hug the left leg in. You can bring the foot up for a half happy baby. And release your foot. Bring both feet as wide as the mat. So you want your feet wider than your hips. So a pretty good distance apart. You can bring your arms into a cactus position and then just slowly, you often refer to this as windshield wiper your knees from side to side. So we don't want to be like going really quickly, just nice and slow. Maybe pausing once your knees are to the side. And slowly moving back and forth. And this just feels so good. And then pick your knees up again. Set your arms out to the side. Back of the shoulders on the floor. And gently twist both knees over to the right. And you can turn your head to the left. And first just let yourself relax here. And notice how your back feels. Again, those full breaths to give yourself an internal massage. And then we're going to undo the twist by starting to lift up through that left shoulder, bring the left arm all the way over to the right, stacking the shoulders, reaching the left arm nice and long. And then to come back, I'm going to slowly start to peel down. So I'm not plopping my whole back down, but just trying to bring a little bit of the back to the floor. Until finally, the whole back is down, and then I twist open. And then inhale back up. So really being aware of all the little different stages of movement as we open up and twist. And one more of these. So inhale, lift up, rolling onto your side, reaching across. And then exhale, just slowly start to lower your back on the floor in stages. And then again, just relax. So noticing if there is any difference here. Let everything relax. The more quickly we can go into relaxation, and the healthier we can be, because we can balance out all the activity that we do with being able to relax. And sometimes we get so tense it's difficult to relax. And in order to digest, we need to be relaxing. So if we're always going, stressing, it's very hard for our bodies to digest. Then inhale, bring your legs back up. Maybe you need to readjust your shoulders or your hips. And then on an exhale, twist your knees to the left. And just let everything relax. Noticing how this feels. And we'll do the same thing. So I'm going to start by kind of rolling towards my left side, letting the right shoulder come up, stacking the shoulders, reaching my arm across. And then slowly start to peel down the right side of the back, middle of the back, and onto the left or the right shoulder. Oops, sorry. You know what I mean. And start up again. So we start to peel one side of the back away from the floor. And then we start to slowly lower the back onto the floor. And we'll just do one more of these. Try and keep the movement slow so you can feel, and you can even go slower than I'm going right now. Just let yourself feel the whole movement. And then again, just rest in your twist. And then your next breath, bring your knees back up to center. And now we'll take that strap. You can place your left foot on the floor and take your right foot. Place the strap around the base of your right foot. Now if you have a loop in your strap, you could place the loop or both ends of the straps in your hands. It's important that your hands are far enough down the strap that your shoulders aren't being pulled up off the floor. So let your shoulders rest on the floor. Actively push your big toe mat into the strap and just with a little pressure, pull down on the strap. So you feel that your hamstrings are engaged. And then you can stretch your left leg out. Take the strap into your right hand. Rest your left hand on your left hip bone. And this is to make us aware of the hip so that we don't roll the whole hip as we open our right leg out to the side. So very slowly, keeping the right sit bone rooted, start to open your right leg out to the right, keeping this left hip down. So it's going to want to roll, right? It's going to want to lift and roll. See if you can keep it down. Nothing wrong with it rolling. It's not going to hurt you in any way. You just won't get the same stretch as if the hip stays down. Inhale your leg back up. And we're going to switch the strap into our left hand, open the right arm out to the side, and bring the right leg all the way over to the left. And we'll do this back and forth a couple more times. So inhale your leg back up, switch the strap into your right hand, keep the left hip down as you open the right leg out to the side. Inhale back to center, switch the strap, lower your leg across. Now, the higher your foot is up, it's going to be a little bigger of a stretch. Some of you might need to have your foot a little closer in the direction of your feet. Some of you can have it up higher. It's the same thing when we go open to the side. If this foot stays up high, it's going to be a different feeling to the stretch than if it's lower. But you have to adjust according to your body. So now we're going to bring the strap, our leg, everything over to the left and stay here for a little bit. Now some of you might be able to hold your foot. Some of you are going to hold the strap, or you could even relax the strap a little bit. Think of unrolling your upper body back to the right. So you might even lift up the shoulders a little bit. Find that twist. And then you can take your right hand and kind of open up the thigh, or think of rolling your hip open. So I'm kind of rolling this hip open towards my bottom foot. So instead of this kind of pulling up, I'm trying to create a little space here. It's really nice if you get someone else to stretch you out. But even just thinking of rolling this hip like more away from the floor on the inside and kind of more towards the floor on the outside and give you a nice opening here. If you feel any pinching in here and you can roll the hip open, that could relieve it, or you could release your leg down a little bit. So we'll stay here just for like 2 more breaths. And we'll inhale back up. Release the strap. And first just lower your leg down to feel the difference of the 2 legs. You might feel like the right side is a little bit longer. It does on me right now. So I have people look up and like kind of look to see if the one leg is a little bit longer. And we'll do the same thing on the left side. So bend your right knee, right foot on the floor. Place the strap across if you can, right under on top of the toe mounds of the foot rather than in the arch. Nothing wrong with in the arch, but pushing up through the big toe mounds, shoulders on the floor. Feel the stretch of the hamstring. And then you can straighten the right leg, open the right arm out to the side, and start to open that left leg out to the left. Making sure trying to keep that right hip down. And inhale back to center, switch the strap, lower across. And inhale back to center. So we're always going to be switching hands. Being aware that when we open our leg out to the side, opposite hip stays down. And then as we reach across, you can adjust the height of your foot. And if your foot doesn't go all the way to the floor, that's fine. You're just moving with awareness and the breath. This time when we bring our leg across, we're going to stay across. So if you can keep this left shoulder down. That would be great. If not, that's fine. Also, so again, you could take this left hand and kind of press open the left hip just a little bit. And see if maybe it wants to relax open. Think of rolling this hip down a little bit. So this is kind of the hip drawing up, and this is rolling it out. And then just let yourself relax. You don't even have to hold the strap anymore if you don't want. And just a gentle hold. So you don't want to be straining, trying to hold that leg up too much. Just see where it wants to go. Again, you might be able to hold your foot. We'll just stay here a few more breaths. And then you can bring your leg back up with or without the strap. Lower your leg down. Wiggle the hips a little bit. And bend your knees. You can let your knees rest in on each other, so feet a little wider. And just take your hands. You can take your hands like flat palms. We're just going to roll in that direction of digestion. So I'm kind of using like the base of my fingers or the heel of my hand to give a little slight pressure. I'm going to start just below the left rib and kind of smooth out down to the hip bone, and then bring it across. And then kind of pull up from the right hip up into the right ribs and across. And just nice gentle circles. And you could use the flat palm. It doesn't have to be a lot of pressure. Just think of it as like a gentle massage. You might feel something move around in there. You could do this if you had your quarters ball, you could roll it around. Good. And you can bring your feet up in the air and your arms up in the air, so your feet are balancing over your hips, like they're not out like this or too far in. Just see if you can find a nice balance so the back can relax. And then we're not lifting the shoulders off the floor, letting the shoulders relax, let the hands relax. Just kind of makes you want to take a sigh. So just let your whole back relax. If you want to start doing a little movement into the fingers and the wrists and the toes and ankles, that can feel really good. Breathe nice and fully with the breath. Maybe you just heard my ankles crackle a little bit. And then place your feet on the floor for bridge pose. Relax your arms by your side. So you want the shoulders to be down. You want your feet to be hip distance apart, close to your hips, with the heels coming out a little bit. And then press into your feet. Inhale. Lift up through your upper back. Then exhale, slowly lower down. And on your inhale, press into your feet, curl up. Maybe lift up through the back of the shoulders, drawing the ribs in. Even though this wants to pop them up, you could join them in a little bit. These movements are very subtle, and in some ways they're almost more energetic than physical. We'll just do one more of those. So inhale, curl up. Maybe walk the shoulders in. Maybe interlace the fingers behind your back. And maybe a little sway from side to side. And exhale, slowly lower down. And we'll just do a little bit of core work. So interlace your fingers behind your head. Bring your feet up over your hips. Take a big inhale, and then we exhale, lower the right leg toward the floor and twist your right elbow towards your left knee. Inhale back up, the shoulders can either lower or stay lifted, and exhale, twist. left elbow towards the right knee. Inhale back up, keep the shoulders lifted or lower, and switch. So we're actually taking a little bit of a break in between by letting both legs come up in the air. We're pressing the belly towards the spine. So you shouldn't have any back pain from doing this. The last side. And hug your knees into your chest. Gently rock around in both directions. Place your feet on the floor. One more slow motion bridge pose. And then exhale, slowly lowering back down again. And then gently stretch your legs and your arms out for Savasana. So do those little wiggles, do those little just kind of refinement movements to let your back be as flat on the floor as possible. So hopefully no space under your ribs, little bit of space under the low back. Hips resting on the floor, arms out to the side. And focus especially on the exhalation. So take a big breath in through your nose and exhale, make a sigh. Let it go. Inhale. And exhale. One more of those. Big inhale. Exhale. Let it go. Let everything soften. Relax. And you can stay here as long as you like. If you like this video, please like it below. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. And especially I would love to hear any comments that you would like to share and requests that you might have. And I hope that your belly's feeling better. Namaste.